My name is Kathleen Keane. And I am a proud resident of the 49th Ward of the charming city of Chicago. I am not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I will never be a politician. But what I am is a dedicated community activist here in this ward. I've often said that as much as I'd like to be in public service, I feel that my skin is too thin to be in public service. But somebody said to me recently that that's probably a good thing in your situation, because if your skin is thin, you can listen and absorb what your neighbors have to say. And for the last 2.5 weeks, I have listened to the stories of many of my neighbors. We put together this event, literally, I think we booked the venue 2.5 weeks ago. So I have met with so many people and talked to them. The one thing I feel as somebody who's dedicated to this community is integrity. And I've learned that you aren't born with integrity, but you have to demonstrate it day in and day out. And over time, if you do that, you gain the trust of people. And I'm delighted to say that I think I have the trust of some people here in the audience tonight. I had the absolute pleasure and honor of playing at Maggie Daly's funeral not too long ago. And I went to her wake as well, and I saw the beautiful card that they were handing out. And on the card is a wonderful quote that has been sitting on my desk ever since and has inspired me quite recently, and here it is. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So here before me is a small group of thoughtful, committed people, and I thank you all for coming here tonight. Thank you. I think that it's time that we go up in the 49th Ward. And when I mean up in the 49th Ward, I mean UPP, Unified Positive Politics, which is open to everybody, all parties. And I think with that we can make some positive change in this neighborhood. UPP stands for politics in which money and wealth don't matter, but rather the rightness of what is right is what really matters. Thank you. So let's play the game and get into UPP, Unified Positive Politics in this ward. Recently I met with a candidate who is running for 49th Ward Committeeman, Jim Jendersky, and he shared with me one of his dreams for this ward, whether or not he's elected, and that is to form a Boys and Girls Club. I totally support Jim in that endeavor. I think it's something we need in this neighborhood. So I'm not a politician, but as I claim now to be a dedicated community activist, I have 3 things that I want to do in the very near future. One of them is I want to help raise funds right away for that Boys and Girl Club. I am implementing a concert series that will begin in June. It's a monthly Sunday afternoon concert series, and a generous portion of the sales will go to the funding of that club. I also would like to donate a portion of the CD sales from my CDs tonight, which are sale out there, to start the fund right away, and I think I'll have a conversation with our Alderman Joe Moore about exactly how you do that. I have no idea how you do that, but we are going to have some money to donate to the start of that by the end of tonight. And also, I invite any campaign managers to sit down and talk with me, because I think that in elections, a lot of times people use negative campaigning. And what I've heard over the last 2-3 weeks is that we as residents of this ward are tired of that. We don't want to see that. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to open our mail and see these beautiful, expensive, full-color brochures where all that money could go towards something better, like a Boys and Girls Club. So I think that Rogers Park of the 49th Ward is a microcosm of the world. And I think if we can start to do that and end that negative campaigning here, we can set an example on a world stage. I think it's time to be kind to one another. In August, it'll be exactly 49 years since a young man in his 40th year of life made a speech and had a dream. I stand here today before you as a 40-year-old woman making a speech and having a dream. I have a dream. I think we have a dream. And that dream is that negative campaigning in politics ends here today. The transformation has begun. I encourage all campaign managers not to use it. And I actually am going to say something which you might not expect me to say, but if you just hear me out. I actually feel sorry for the politicians, because I believe that when people go into public service, I believe they do it out of the goodness of their heart and wanting to serve a community. At some point along their career in politics, I believe that perhaps somebody who opposes them might use that in their campaign, and it's effective. Negative campaigning has been proven to be effective. So then the pressure is put on the politician to perhaps use that as well to compete and ultimately either obtain or retain their position. So I actually feel sorry for the politicians. But negative campaigning won't work if we take those brochures or flyers and when we see them, we rip them up and throw them in the garbage. I think that would be really helpful towards ending that. We need to make them hear us. I have had so many conversations in cafes, restaurants, and the odd bar once in a while, and it always comes up about how frustrated people are with it. But we're afraid to actually speak up and say something about it. But something has happened to me recently, and I'm not afraid to stick up and speak for the people of this ward when we say we really want to end negative campaigning now. I'm willing to step up and speak for all of us. I think this small group of thoughtful, committed people here tonight will go down in history. I believe this is the end of negative campaigning, not only in our ward, but on the world stage. It begins with a small group of people right here, right now. Yo hablo un poquito de español y yo quiero una traducción de este discurso. Si hay una persona aquí que puede hacerlo, por favor, hablas conmigo después, okay? I knew that Spanish minor would come in handy one day or another. I have a website. It's a musical website, www.kathleenkeane.com. I'm going to have a page on that website, 49th Ward, and that will be just my own little kind of spot where I can put some thoughts up there. I might even put this speech up there. We'll see.